Ready for an adventure that welcomes everyone? Dive into Cache Odyssey. Cache Odyssey is 6 fully accessible geo tours where every geocache is designed for everyone, regardless of their abilities. Each hidden cache tells a unique story, bringing people together on a journey of discovery. So, whether you're a seasoned geocacher or a new adventurer, get ready to experience the thrill like never before.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's logwerk.com.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Big thanks to our patrons and our new patrons, 1 and 7 and SSOJOAT. But thank you so much, keeping us going, keeping us on the air, paying our bills. We always have different subscriptions that we have that we need to pay for to keep the show on the air, and the patrons take care of that. So thank you so much to all of our patrons for that. So let's get started. Let me bring in the co-hosts. There they are.
Howdy.
Hey.
Pizza Ninja and Memphis Mafia, who went out and had a big day of geocaching, is what we've heard.
I wouldn't call it a big day because, to some of our people, that means hundreds, right? But it was one of those days that, even though the numbers weren't huge, it was one of those days that makes you happy about geocaching again. So
yeah, a good day of geocaching, not a big day. But a lot of people say a big day, they think of it as a attribute or a cache type run, but it wasn't one of those kind of days. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Jesse's cashed out counties in a state in a single day. I mean, for him, that's a big day, right?
That's right. Who knows? It was again, our big focus at the beginning of the year is January. Instead of setting a bunch of like crazy, I want to get 8 million caches this year or whatever, we want to reignite our passion for caching, which we're still doing anyway, but really get back to the basics of what makes it fun. And this is one of those perfect combinations of, we got some caches, but we also got to go to the weird, quirky history things that Christy loves.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And find a little diner that was awesome. And, that kind of, combine that all in one day. And we still got 17 caches. Now, some of those were labs because it was,
we got it.
It was, that was the perfect geocaching day just to get us like, man, we started looking for events coming up, and we had the block party coming too. And we're like, this is us getting excited about geocaching again. So that's a fun day. Now, it helps. It was like a beautiful day here. So I don't know what y'all faced today, but I mean, it was t-shirt weather. It was awesome. So
wearing my Allen Americans hockey.
There you go. John's all wrapped up too. So I'm a t-shirt. So I'm okay.
Yeah. The life of a Floridian down there.
Yeah, tell me, I was just happy because it got like a little bit above freezing today. So I was like, this is awesome,
We were
Yeah.
barely double that, so it wasn't like it was hot, but it was
Yeah.
pretty nice.
No, not bad. All right. Yeah. We were, our little group was caching in the snow yesterday, and thinking about you guys. Jesse used to living in that day, but we were
Mhm.
we were clearing snow to find the cache, and you just don't do that in Texas very often. When you're like, do I clear the snow in this area? You clear the snow in that area. I think there's a stump there, so let's clear the snow. You're like, who does that in Texas? But we had to do it because we had several
That is
inches of
weird.
snow. So
Did,
yeah,
did you guys have to look for the winter friendly attribute before you went out,
we
Gary?
needed to.
You know what? In your next caches, you should start doing that. You should put winter friendly on your
Winter-friendly.
Texas caches.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. No, none of that. None of that. But yeah, it was a great day. And we finished up the day obviously at our normal 10:50 barbecue, which is great barbecue, and we played Cash Masters. Didn't win, which you think the guy that made the game should win it, right? But no. No, I play Cash Masters with a bunch of cutthroat yahoos, so
Cutthroat yahoos.
some cutthroat jackwagons. So I don't.
Whoa, Gary, this is a family friendly show.
That's right. Hey,
Very
easy
nice,
now.
sir.
No,
Yeah.
it's fun, but we figured out that another option for the game is to make it teams, and I never thought about it, but you could play it as teams. So there was 4 of us, and so we're kind of sitting. We were doing a little Hatfield McCoys, even though we didn't, because the guy next to me is cutting my throat too. So, but it was fun. It was a great day. So, all right, let's do this. John, you want to get us started?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremostly, a big happy birthday to Mr. Gary Slinkard.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Gary, on here. We're getting a large amount of well wishes in the chat room for Mass Seeker, Patty Cakes on here, Nicole B.
Thank you.
Genius,
Yeah.
Runner Casher on here. Even Jim was saying, hey, Pizza Ninja, baked bean pizza for Gary's birthday. Any pizza Gary wants for his birthday. And
Baked bean pizza. I don't know about that one.
Gary, if it's barbecue, I think you'd like it.
Oh yeah, baked
maybe.
beans. Yeah, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could do this
Are you
right here.
craving cheesy goodness? It's time for Pizza Talk. Whether you're at your local
Yes.
No, none of that.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it. I've gotten a lot of well wishes, and it's always great to see. I don't know if you guys, I know you guys get a lot of happy birthdays like on Facebook, but it's good to see. It's really fun. It's almost like, oh, I kind of even forgot about that person. I hadn't seen them in a long time, and it's just nice to see them take the moment to click the button and wish a birthday to somebody, and it does mean a lot. Even though, I mean, we've all done it, and we're like, oh, well, click on their birthdays, happy birthday.
Yeah.
But it really does mean something when you see somebody like, oh man, I haven't seen that person in like 20 years. But friendships can last forever. You just unfortunately don't get to see everybody that you want to see all the time. They live in another state, or just have lost track. But it's always good to see people. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. We're glad you're having a good one.
Yeah.
In news, we want to talk about Geo Woodstock for a second.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys actually saw it in Geo Woodstock, right? It's over 2,752 will attends.
Dang.
Yeah, it keeps on jumping up closer to that magical mark of 3,000.
Magical number.
It's getting closer.
Where if people don't know the magic number of 3,000, if it reaches 3,000 will attends, it can become North America's 3rd ever Giga event. And yes, believe it or not, 3rd. There were 2 previously on that one, even though some members of this team put an asterisk by one of them. Believe it or not.
One of them. Well, and one was in Canada, which is fine.
That didn't even count. That's like That's metric. That's not even. That doesn't matter.
Oh, jeez.
That's a metric mega. It doesn't count.
It's a metric mega.
So I mean,
Mega.
so on here, if it's one of those things that you're considering going to Geo Woodstock, log your will attend, on there. Get the latest news on that front. I'm going to put the GC code in the chat on here. I know for myself earlier today, I actually reserved my hotel room because with this baby going giga, you're going to want to get your hotel room reserved onto that one. And
I heard, and I'm going to start the rumor that they're going to switch to a block party instead of a giga. Just
no, Jesse, no.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I'm just telling you. That's what I heard.
No,
that'd be hysterical if they got giga status and like, nah. Let's just go to a block party. No, let's just do that.
Be like, it's a 25th anniversary of geocaching. Like, we could go giga or block party. No, it's gonna go giga, man. Gonna go giga on that one.
Maybe so. Maybe so. We'll see.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah. But on there, we're. I know I'm proud for Geocache Talk to be a sponsor of that one. I know Gary and I are going to be there.
We'll be there.
We won't, judge if somebody from our team is not there, but
judge all you want.
He would want to be there if he could, but he can't.
I would absolutely be there if at all possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, no problem. We understand. We're with you, brother.
Yeah.
You want to give a quick update on Cache Odyssey?
Yeah, absolutely. And Cache Odyssey, for those that don't know, Cache Odyssey is 6 regional geo tours on that one. So 50 caches in total, all of them being terrain 1 letter boxes to show people that terrain 1s can be innovative, creative. And I don't know if you guys actually checked today on here, but Cache Odyssey, since going live on December 29th, we're now over 396 favorite points earned on all the caches.
That's pretty good for not being live very long at all.
No.
And it's not like it's a power trail, right? It's across the whole country. So it's
right.
It takes some driving to get to more than one of those.
And
you people have found several.
Yeah. You can't even find 2 in a state. You just have to find one, and you're like, oh, that's it. We got to go to another state. We have to go to another state to find one of these. Yep. That's it. 1 per state.
Yeah. Well, and the amazing thing too is we actually had our first person who cleared out a region on this one.
Yeah.
First
souvenir out there.
Yeah. So a big shout out to Nancy. I don't know how you pronounce her geocaching name. I should have asked her when I met her. I think it's like Yukiona on there. So yeah, she's earned this Northeast region souvenir on this side. So how cool is that?
That's awesome. So awesome.
Yeah. And I know I keep on going to the leaderboard every day on this one, but if you're new, you want to go to cacheodyssey.com to learn more about it on that side.
Yeah, cacheodyssey.com. Check out the leaderboard. Check out the we're up to you want me to give the update on the caches real quick?
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we are up to 47 published. We have 3 that are in process and should, cross the fingers, they should go live this week. So Hawaii, I talked to the cache owner and he felt pretty comfortable that this week it'll go live. It's on the Big Island, so if you want to plan at least that portion of your trip to Hawaii, then you'll want to hop over to the Big Island or fly direct. I think you can fly direct to the Big Island. Hilo or can you fly direct? I don't know. You can't. I can't remember. Hilo or, but yeah. So then Missouri is working out their last part. Really, they're all pretty much ready to go. Some of them have construction. There's some construction going on around a couple of them, and they just didn't want to go live and with limited parking and all the barriers that were up, and so some of them are in a good spot. They just didn't feel comfortable going live yet. So Missouri should go live, and also Kentucky should go live here shortly. So this week, fingers crossed, we'll have all 50.
Oh man, that is awesome. And I don't know if everybody here heard the latest news on this one, But and an update from Scott on this one.
Sorry,
He said
Scott. He had to disable Alaska due to an issue with the box locking mechanism. He'll get it. He's going to get that fixed. So,
and that stuff's going to happen with creative caches.
yeah, those guys. Yeah, they happen. So, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, and switching over from Cache Odyssey to another Odyssey. I don't know if everybody heard about, but this weekend, and this is 100% true. This isn't me making this up, but Pizza Odyssey is live.
Oh, good grief.
So Pizza Odyssey, a big shout out to Nancy of the Deadliest Cachers. You know, Nancy runs Geocaching Central. She does a lot of really cool things, but on this one, Pizza Odyssey is live. So I'm gonna put the link.
It's legit.
Yeah, totally legit. Totally legit. And you know,
wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about in a previous show, like how Cache Odyssey is going to inspire others. So to have Pizza Odyssey already out there, you know, how cool is that? You know,
that is awesome that she did that. It's called the Pizza Odyssey, the slice baby bonus.
Yes,
That's
and
funny.
you have to do the adventure lab for Pizza Odyssey, and then you'll get those coordinates to that bonus cache on that one. So I'm pretty excited to go out and find it.
So I got a couple of favorite points.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Big shout out on that one.
There.
Yeah. But I know you guys are probably thinking, right? Like Cache Odyssey and Pizza Odyssey are two incredibly big and unique things for 2025, right?
That's what we're done, basically.
Yeah. Well, you know, on January 14th, though.
There's more.
But wait, there's more. January 14th. We have this feeling, and we've heard this thing, and we know Brian Roth is going to be on Challenge Talk. Did you guys know that?
I have heard a rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. I think this is the first time that we've been petitioned by HQ to be on one of our shows. I mean, they've been on our shows if we invite them, but they asked us if they could be on our shows. So I thought that was cool.
It's got me very curious.
Yeah,
I don't want to make any public guesses, but I have some thoughts.
It's got to be pretty big. I mean, they are going around to the podcast and they're asking if they can be on the different shows to give give an update, which I think is really cool that, you know, we have that kind of relationship with geocaching.com to do that. So I
think they're
looking forward
canceling
to
all webcams. That's what I'm guessing.
Oh no. You think that's how they're going to come out with guns blazing and be like, hey guys, you know, it's the 25th anniversary of geocaching.
Yeah.
Right.
And we decide to just kill all the remaining webcams.
They're done. As a matter of fact, we're going to take them out of your profile. The fines don't count anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Jesse, and I don't have any inside information, but that's probably.
You thinking that's now?
You don't think that's it?
I don't.
They didn't go to
so.
They're not going to the trouble of being on air all the podcasts just to let them know they're killing.
How about for all of 2025, all caches count for 2 smileys instead of 1?
I like that. There you go.
That's a good cache exchange rate right there. I'll take that.
Now, if they come out with a history cache type, I'm going to scream that they stole that from. Well, I wouldn't say they stole it. They got the idea from us because we talked about having a history.
You know what? I think
type.
The Adventure Labs thoroughly cover the history type, though.
I know.
At least the way that we do them and the ones we go for, they're historic. Most of all the ones we go for are historic downtown style.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's
we're
pretty
going to come
covered.
up with another idea to try to throw at the wall. So
yeah.
We have our guess. Can we go ahead and guess?
No, I don't think you should guess publicly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not any real ones.
We've talked at least, you know, if I guessed, because I made an actual guess.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see if we guessed right. But we have a good idea of what we think it really is going to be. So
yeah.
Just know that.
All cache types except for where it goes are over. That's what it's going to be.
Okay. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably
that may
not
not be
the case either. Yeah, Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think so, but yeah. So stay tuned. January 14th. Tune into Challenge Talk. Find out. We know it's the 25th anniversary, so we have to know some pretty cool stuff's coming on this one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. And then also we have coming up that we have a couple other updates we wanted to give for folks. We had one that came in from our good friend Grady Butler, who is our radio DJ extraordinaire. We had him on the show a while back, and was a lot of fun having him on and talking how to be a radio. He was a legit radio DJ. We're just podcasters, but we connected. And he mentioned a couple things. I'm going to mention the block party that he wants us to mention, but also he sent us a video, and I did get approval to show this video, and I think it's kind of cool. So we'll talk about it after the video. So here we go. So I think it's crazy we have reviewers sending us videos.
I like it. Years back, Colorado did this. The reviewer in Colorado did the same thing. It was a mystery for a while, and then they finally let it come out who they were.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Arizona Skies is a new reviewer for Arizona. He's hoping people will seek him out and see him at the Yuma Block Party. And so the Yuma Block Party is I'll put it in the chat room. GCAK Z9Y Yuma Block Party is going to be on February 2nd. Block Party. I'm glad that something I talked with Grady about is I'm just glad that because for a while there we weren't sure if the Yuma Block Party was going to stick around. There were some discussions about it not, it kind of going away, but fortunately it's been survived, and so looking forward to going some year. I'm not going to be able to go this year, but we do encourage folks if they have the opportunity to go to that. I've heard really good things about it, and that it's a really good block. Well, it's going to be a block party this year. It's a really good mega. So definitely encourage folks to go to that. And it's in the link's also in the show notes if you miss it. If it's in the chat room, but also if you're watching or listening to the audio, you can always go check out the show notes for that. The other one I want to mention is Bamarama is coming also up middle of February 16th. But of course there's events. Bamarama has events starting. This cracks me up. They got events starting on Friday, the 7th of February. You could basically live in Foley, Alabama for the next month, and you'd be doing events starting February 7th all the way through the 17th. but the mega is on the 16th. So plan accordingly. I'm going to be there probably for Wednesday through Monday. So the 12th, I guess, through the 17th is my plan.
It's a
I
good
will
one.
be.
It's a good mega.
Yeah, I'll be at those events, and looking forward to seeing our patrons and viewers and listeners to the show. So if you see me, come shake my hand and tell me you listen to the show or watch the show. That really encourages us.
Gary will give you
Look,
$100. Just go ahead and shake
I
his hand.
I will
Really?
give you $100 Monopoly money. You'll be ready to go. In fact, since it is a gaming is the this is the one of the block parties that is leaning into the game. They're celebrating 25 years of geocaching by hosting a board game themed mega. A
I like it.
life-size board game is being created to highlight the many megas that came before Bamarama. I think they've got a really good layout. So if y'all go check out it's GCAKV1F as in Frank. So check that out. They've got a great lineup of events coming up, and so it's going to be a blast. So I'm really looking forward to being in Gulf Shores / Foley / it's that whole little area.
I know. It's so close, and I'm obligated that weekend to something else, and I can't do it.
Oh,
I
man.
went last year, and I said, I'm definitely coming back, and then I've got a family obligation that weekend. However, there is another block party we haven't mentioned.
Yes, we never want to mention that. We definitely want to mention that. Bamarama Bucks. Yeah, thank you, Judy. And then, Nicole will be there, so I'll get to see Be Genius there. So, tell us about the one you're going to be at.
So I'm going to go to the one in Florida. It's 18th annual Picnic in the Park block party. So it's a long-going event. It hasn't always been a mega, but I guess technically it's not a mega now. It's a block party, but it's a mega block party. One of those things. I will. The GC code is GCAT7WM, and I can put that in the chat as well.
And I'll also put in the show notes. Just let people know. I'm going to put it in there, so in case you missed it.
But DC was it? This one. It's only about 120 miles as the crow flies for me, so there's no way I'm missing that one. I'm not obligated that weekend. We're going down there. We've already got our hotel. It's on the East Coast, Space Coast area.
Very nice.
It's in a park, and this park is ringed with just caches and labs and all kinds of stuff, a bunch of cool events. And we were going through today. We finalized our hotel, and we're going through today. Christy was logging all the Willetins and stuff, and I 120 miles away. It's not 120 miles away, but I mean, if I was to fly there, it'd be 120 miles. But that's great. Right. It's so close, and it looks like it's going to be, it's a long running event, and it looks like it's going to be a really good one. And I hope we get some different sections of people in the East, that you're getting in the West, and we're getting to meet a lot of the people out there too. So I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to camp, but we don't have time to camp. I don't want to camp for several days if we can do that, but it looks great. Just one more thing that's, and that's this month. That's on the 25th of this month. So just one more cool thing that's going on this year. Absolutely. It's shaping up to be a good 25th anniversary year.
No, I agree completely. Yeah, Nicole
said, there is a ton of caches in that park. I don't know what kind of roadblock figured out how you can squeeze all those in there.
You did it perfectly.
But, they did it, Now, the labs, obviously, they don't have proximity issues, but Buzz is going to the picnic. Yeah, I'm going to be there we hope to be there we'll get there Friday afternoon and stay through Sunday night,
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so much. So we'll report back on those. And that is awesome. Well, let's get into tonight's did I miss anything? Are we good? That's good. Yep.
I think we're good on the news.
Let's get into tonight's topic because this was brought up to us by Electric Water Boy. Electric Water Boy has a very big heart for CITOs. And so he asked us if we would do a show about CITOs. And we had some ideas, but also we got some ideas from our buddy in the ether, Chat GC, our geocaching AI buddy who's living in the world of AI, who loves geocaching, and they gave us some ideas as well. So we'll go through these and we'll talk about them. How's that? So let's start at the beginning with one that I've heard, but I don't. I want to get y'all's opinion or thoughts on, or if you've ever done one like this, and that is to do a native plant restoration event. And what they mention here, activity wise, is you would plant native plants, wildflowers, trees in an area impacted by invasive species or deforestation. And the impact is you're going to encourage biodiversity, support pollinators, bees and such, and reduce soil erosion. And their event idea is a plant and picnic. After planting, enjoy a community potluck or storytelling session. So, on the first one, your thoughts?
I'll say, and then John will have more expertise here, but I know in the ones I've done in the past, and I've done the pull the weeds, and the second phase was to come back and plant.
Yeah.
But
cool.
A lot of these, just kind of preface some of these events that we're talking about. Remember that you don't have to plan all this yourself. So if you're doing something like this, you shouldn't go into an area and pull weeds and plant things without some very explicit permission. So we're going to assume that everybody knows that you should be working with the landowner, and many of them will have you sign releases and everything else. But if you reach out to park employees and the staff, a lot of times they have projects that are not just picking up trash, and things like this are great ones because it's low skill. It doesn't take anybody to do it. It's generally physically pretty easy for a lot of people, and it makes a huge difference. It's not just the trash on the side of the road, right? So these are a good one. I really like these a lot. And John, I know you probably have more insight on this than I do, but I've never, every time I've ever reached out for a CITO, they're like, yeah, we have some ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the hats I wear is co-chair for our county greenway group. So, encompassing a lot of different trail organizations. And, this plant restoration is like one component of, helping to improve like the environment around, because especially with soil erosion, it's amazing how water levels can vary. So, I mean, if you're going out there and, Pito, plant some trash out. Yeah, I like that cave blast. That's got a good ring to it. But that can help. But certainly, on your
sorry, I'm going to put invasive species removal. So you guys also talk about that because they kind of go hand in hand a little bit. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And I agree, Gary, because I mean, one of those is, definitely talking to people, making sure the invasive species are removed. That is a good group activity to have on that one.
Yep.
I know we've gone volunteers to remove like honeysuckle, other invasive species from our trails.
Right.
And that is really cool for people to go in and to do that one. But definitely, consulting with people who are knowledgeable upon that one, especially for planting native plants on that one.
Yeah.
I know for us, like we have a area that's east of us where it's funny, it was like replanted years and years ago, and it was like with like Norwegian spruce and a lot of different things on that front, so which are not native.
Yeah.
But I mean, talking to the people who are the experts on this one, and really on this one, like people will help you out. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Trail organizations can probably point you in the direction, watershed groups on here, other, land conservancy groups on this one. So feel free to reach out and to ask on that one, because I've always found any groups like that, their main purpose is to reach out there, to engage with the community, to help folks on that side.
Right.
And these are wonderful ways to do this. These really are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think somebody's already kind of touched on why we're doing this show. They said they've only been to CITOs where you're cleaning up trash. Yeah, those are good things too. However, like my wife does not clean up trash. She is not interested in that kind of CITO. If we do other stuff, she's all over it, but she's like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't want to do that. But these things, these are perfect ideas. Plus, it's hard to have, when you're the typical highway CITO where you're cleaning up stuff, you don't know what you're going to come across. And those can be really dangerous for kids. So, we've all seen the stuff that you don't need to have. So, plus it's beside a highway, so that's dangerous too. But
it is dangerous,
unknown trash, and CITO can be so much more. And that's what we're gonna kind of hit tonight. CITO can be so much more than just getting bags of trash. Those are also important. However, there's a whole lot more we can do. So as we go through these, hopefully it'll inspire somebody.
Yeah. I'm going to skip over the water one for the moment because I want to kind of stay in this kind of mode. And so I'm going to go down to another one called, it's a community pollinator gardens. You can create, again, like Jesse said, with planning and permission. That's sort of, I should say it's a given, but probably isn't. So we probably need to mention with planning and permission, you can create or revitalize pollinator gardens in parks or urban areas. And what that will do, the impact is it'll support bees, butterflies, and other essential pollinators.
Mm-hmm.
An event idea would be Buzz and Bloom. Not that you get buzzed, but there's buzz in the bloom in the blooms, and you can have an educational component about the importance of pollinators. So, what are y'all's thoughts on the Buzz and Bloom CITO?
I think just like the other one, this kind of fits in with the other one, right? But that's a definite impact on the community that can be seen by other people. And not to get off topic, but geocaching doesn't always get favored in the newspaper, right? I mean, because people do dumb things and we don't think sometimes. This is our number one best way, other than like educational workshops, to give back to the community. And if you have like a pollinator garden and people can see it and somehow they know, oh, the geocacher did that, you're building a lot of community support, for our hobby. Plus, you've done a good thing. Yeah. So I don't think this is a great one. I've never done one of these, but I like the idea.
Yeah. I really like the idea on this one too, because we all know the positive effect of green spaces in people's lives. I mean, just think about it. You're inside, you're not really feeling good. You go outside, it's green, it's beautiful. You start to feel like less stress. You start to feel in a better spot. So, I mean, especially if you can do that for urban areas, I mean, that's pretty cool, where there may not be a lot of green spaces in that. But on here too, I mean, I think Jesse, you put on a really good point, raising awareness for geocaching. Because for a lot of people who have land or have parks, they may not really know about geocaching. I mean, I think the really cool thing is when we were doing Cache Odyssey, hearing the stories of working with people in these spaces that were like awesome spaces for hiding, where typically like they would not allow caches to be hidden, but after those conversations, understanding what they were doing, it really opened up the doors on here. So, just thinking on that one, like if you have a park, if you have a location, maybe there's not any geocaches, this is a wonderful way to introduce the sport of geocaching to these people and establish a good relationship on that one. And hopefully to dispel, myths that could prevent people from, allowing geocaching in their area as well too. So all win-wins for sure.
Yeah. Something that goes along with that. Also, there was a suggestion for one called a seed bomb workshop. And what that would be, it's an activity where you make and distribute seed bombs with native plant seeds in neglected green spaces. Again, planned and permitted.
Maybe don't call it bomb and geocaching the same thing, but other than that.
You can call it something else, but you get the idea. This will help beautify and restore a habitat. And the idea is to organize a hike or a walk, and we'll talk about how you do that because there's some very specific things you have to do for CITO. But you can organize a hike or walk to deploy these seeds in approved areas. So how would we go about having a We'll rename it. What seed? We'll come up with a better name than this. Instead of bomb.
Yeah,
What's a good?
maybe don't call anything a bomb, but we can come up with other plans for it. But again,
I'll work on the name. But what are two? So a couple things. One is how do you do or what are y'all's thoughts on the seed thing? But also, they suggest a hike, a seed ball. Okay, we can have that's good. Thanks, Jim.
Like seed ball.
Thunderstruck had a good idea though.
Not to jump ahead, but this is the same thing as like for a hike. You're reaching out to the park representative ahead of time. Now, anytime you have, and we'll talk about it more tonight, but anytime you have a moving CITO event, whether it's on the water or a hike or anything else,
yes,
because let's say your CITO event is 3 hours, right? Minimum 2 hours, right? I believe now, but it can be longer than that. You have to have somebody at GZ the whole time. So if it's a moving event, you can't move and leave the people that are getting there late. So the whole time counts. So you have to have somebody stationed at the beginning to kind of let people know where to go, the route, and if you're doing a hike, you need to think about it like any kind of hiking event. Be careful sending people out, know the terrain, have maps ready, send them at least, because they're not going to be paying as much of attention if they're cleaning up something or doing seed balls. Eco ball drop. I like that. There's you got to send them out in pairs if you can, right? Send them on trails, cover areas, and somebody needs to know who all went out and who all's checked back in. You don't need to leave people out there. So whether it's on the water, whether it's as a hiking thing or just in a field somewhere, but if they're out of your sight and out of sight of GZ, somebody needs to be responsible for who all's out there, because it's easy to trip and fall or get lost, or your canoe tumps or your kayak tumps over. Any of those things can happen especially when you're not paying attention or carrying a bag of trash or taking limbs out or whatever else. So always keep those in mind as we go through these. If it's a moving event, somebody has to be at GZ the whole time. So
very
part of the
critical.
Coming back to the landowner element, definitely identifying that landowner, because if it is a park, if it is another piece of property, I know, in a lot of communities and areas now, just due to like parks and other areas not getting like a lot of funding anymore, there are friends groups. So you may have like a friends of the park. So, feel free to reach out to those organizations. A lot of times those organizations may actually have funding for doing plantings. So if it's like, seeds, if it's like maybe planting trees, if it's planting other things. And a lot of times like those friends of organizations that are helping to assist with like the maintenance and the upkeep and making those improvements are always looking for volunteers. So, that's always a good strategy to try to work in sync with those groups on that front. Because if you're going to say like, we're going to have like maybe like 15 to 20 people or however many people, even like a few will help. With that group, they may have access to some resources that could even do some like much bigger and cooler things as well too. And when you help out in those ways too, sometimes that's good recognition. And one thing that I want to mention before I forget is a lot of times take those pictures, of those improvements that you're making. Make sure you're sharing those, if it's like the town, if it's like the village, if it's a city. A lot of times those are things that they want to promote, that recognition for people on that front too.
Yeah. So, I'm glad that you mentioned the Friends of. So there's Friends of. Friends of is a title that you have for groups that support things, like many people are aware. But there's Friends of for trails. There's for a lot of public locations like parks and as well as like the library and things like that. All of those groups, those may be the good groups to start with, because they're going to have all the contacts for everybody at that business, organization, whatever that is. They're going to know everybody because they do things to support them all the time. So that's a lot of times an easy way in, as opposed to just reaching out to that organization and going, hey, I need to do this thing, and have to explain it, and then go to somebody else and go to somebody else. If you start with that Friends of group, if you know that there is one for whatever that organization is, you're probably going to cut down your red tape time a lot. So it's going to be very helpful for you.
Excellent. Yeah. And Quincy mentioned make sure the seeds are not invasive. I think the key with that is that you need to just check with an expert
Yes,
Who
absolutely.
knows? Don't just think that you know what should be out there, because um, I know a lot of people think, "Ooh, that's pretty." Well, that may not be the
Yeah, that's not a
species.
good plan. No.
That may not be the what you want. So you want to double
No.
check and make sure that you're dispersing what the people, the experts would tell you they want to do. So, all
Mhm.
right, well, sort of switching gears a little bit, I guess, kind of. But you mentioned about the earlier about the kayaks and everything. So one other suggestion was a waterway cleanup and monitoring. So the
Mhm.
activity would be cleaning litter from rivers, lakes, or beaches, and monitor water quality using simple testing kits.
Mhm.
The impact, of course, is to reduce the pollution and raise awareness of local water health. And an event idea was a trash and splash, combine cleanup with paddleboarding or kayaking.
So here's the cool thing about this. So a lot of these are going to follow the same template, right? Reach out, find out what you're doing. Don't just assume you know what an area needs. This is not like a coffee cash and coffee event where you can just not tell the owner and just sneak in and assume everybody's okay with it. Do the right thing, reach out, plan it out. To sell this one, kind of for some people, this is your opportunity to raise that terrain level a little bit. A lot of
Yeah.
these are going to be higher terrain levels if you're kayaking or doing something in the water. You can't raise difficulty, just so we all know, can't raise
Yeah.
difficulty. But if you
That's for
want to be
another
a little
show.
different and explore that higher terrain level for CITOs or for events, this is your opportunity to do it. If you're using a kayak and you're going down a river, that is not a terrain one. Know what you're getting into, right? So make sure that you're capable and the people that are there are capable. But you're raising the not the difficulty, but the terrain level, and it gives something different to do. Plus, a lot of people are not going to be brave. So if you feel comfortable doing that, a lot of people are going to be brave enough to organize this CITO. So this is a good opportunity to do something different for your community. And you see these, there's a good bit of these down in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add on these too is if you're thinking of something that's involving tools, and you can do some pretty good work that involves tools, but mainly thinking like something with like a cutting edge. So if it's like a saw, talk to that landowner as well too, because there may be restrictions upon what you can do as a volunteer unless you're properly like authorized and properly trained on some ways.
Mhm.
I know some people may think, well, geez, I have a chainsaw. I use a chainsaw all the time. I should be
Mhm.
able to go onto this land and use a chainsaw. Well, there may be, activities that you're not supposed to do, on that land unless you're properly trained or certified in a specific way. So,
Yeah.
just again, if you're thinking about anything, if it's like loppers, handsaw, electrical saw, other things on here. Just make sure you consult, make sure you find the right way, make sure your volunteers are properly trained on that side too. But some ways with waterway cleanup as well too. I think when we're talking about this, we're talking about this at a basic level. It's not necessarily like clearing like logs or jams out of
Yeah. Yeah.
waterways on this side, which can be very important to do. But I mean, you want certainly people who are properly trained in how to do
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
because of the safety elements to that.
Yeah. Excellent. Something that's sort of along that line also is what's referred to as an eco trail maintenance. The
Eco trail
activity
maintenance,
would,
probably. Yeah.
yeah, would be to maintain or improve hiking trails by fixing erosion, planting
Mhm.
shrubs, again, properly with permission, or adding signage. I never thought
Mhm.
about that. That's a really cool thought, because a lot of them would, you know, could use for some updates on their signage. The impact would be to protect natural areas while improving outdoor accessibility. You could call the event Trailblazers, although you're not supposed to blaze trails in certain places, but you get the idea. You
Yeah.
end with a guided nature walk or a geocaching session. So, eco trail maintenance, something along that line. I know John and Jesse have a lot more expertise in this, but I have noticed when we talk about signage, and what made me think of was, and I mentioned it to the park that we were at, and I said, "Hey, I don't know how you want to handle this, but people have been going, basically making their own trail through this area. And of course, you know how it is. If enough people start a
Oh
trail,
yeah.
then they just think that that's a trail you can go. And it's like, I don't know, maybe you guys are the experts on your park. So I don't know, but I'm just letting you know, you probably are aware of, but it was at this back part of this park. It was cache way back in there, but I didn't know if the people that ran the park knew that public had basically created their own trail. And I was like, just so y'all know, I don't know if this is okay or not. So because they can block off, right, John, you could go through and they could block it. If they don't want people going down that particular area,
Yeah,
they
and
want them to stay
sometimes
on
you
a
see
trail.
like people who try to like reclaim trails, so a trail
Yeah,
that wasn't officially put into place, or you may see
Mhm.
like debris or other obstructions based upon that.
right.
So if you're looking at something
Or
where like this looks like a
or
trail,
sign, yeah, or a sign that basically says, trails this way, don't go this way, whatever.
right, certainly adhere to that one. But just thinking on this one too, because I mean, a few things from different trail organizations I've helped out with is sometimes as you're going through trails as a cacher, you may have GPS coordinates. There may not be sufficient signs on that one. So sometimes letting like places know, like, hey, you could use some help with wayfinding signs. That's very valuable for them to have on that side.
Mhm.
Other
Yeah.
types of signs are interpretative signs. So sometimes it's considered like a point of interest onto that one. It could be something that's interesting, like, geological, other like points or like history on that one too. So I mean, these are also like good things to raise up to organizations, because sometimes when they're at that same park or something or that same trail for a long time, they may not realize those. But yeah, certainly don't add signs on your own.
Yeah.
No.
Certainly don't blaze on your own. So paint any marks on trees indicating that things are certain ways. But
Yes.
this represents a cool area for collaboration though, because a lot of places will want help with that one. It's a great opportunity to donate.
Hmm.
It's a great opportunity to, put signs up and working with others on that one.
Yeah.
Because certainly you want people going in those properly sanctioned areas. And yeah, Scott raises a good point on this one. Installing a new sign gives you a chance to install a secret cache compartment in the sign fixture, right? Yeah, absolutely.
I
It, it
I was thinking the same thing though. I mean,
yeah,
if you're
That's great.
volunteering to put that sign in, they may let you put a container right there with it.
yeah,
That-
absolutely.
That's genius.
I mean,
Genius.
think about a post with, the typical post down a trail, dark brown wood.
Yep.
Usually they have painted all up, the arrow sign going this way. And there could be an locked ammo can sitting right on top of every single one of those things. Every 500 something feet that you put a sign up, you got to know, hey, that's great.
Another
Everybody
ammo
knows they're
can.
there. They're locked up. You're good to go. That's a great set of caches that you're volunteering to help them put up.
Genius. All right,
I
another
like it. All right,
one.
what else we got? I'm gonna hear some more creative ones.
Wildlife habitat building. The activity to build birdhouses, bat boxes, or bug hotels for
Mhm.
urban or park settings. So you provide shelter and support local wildlife. The event idea could be homes for wildlife, combining crafting and installing in an event. So
And
wildlife habitat building.
so I think this is an awesome idea, and I think I could
Mhm.
see this one as a series of events. So, phase one of the CITO may just be getting people together to build them, or even phase one and
Yeah.
two. That's two different events right there. And then phase three may be the actual installing of them, right? You could have,
Mhm.
once a month for 3 months or so, you could have an event with like this, build, install, and all kind of CITO series 1, 2, and 3, because that's they're not going to have them pre-installed, and it's now you're thinking about an idea where you can do a series of CITOs, and that people tend to like that quite a bit, because CITOs aren't every day. You do have CITO season coming up, but now you have potentially 3 or 4 CITOs you could build as a series.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think, Jesse, you bring a good point, because I mean, really, this is a time. I mean, if you can start planning some cool CETOs, this is a time to do it on this front.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to help with wildlife habitats on that side too. Especially in areas where it's becoming more wild. Maybe it's an area that was like previously just a field, but it's more of transitioning to like a forest setting at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, those are really, really cool things to think of for sure.
Yeah. Who better to build birdhouses than geocachers?
Right.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And you could include some geocaching things in there. Here's another. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I jumped on there. Go ahead. You had
Yeah,
a comment?
I'll get it. So local CITO made fish habitats. That's perfect. That's
Oh,
exactly what
very
they're
cool.
doing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
legit.
we've had some great. We'll try to get to all of them tonight. There's a bunch, so
We're gonna
again
have to
we'll
start
put them in
rolling a
the show
little
notes.
faster through these. So, all right, let's
All
go. We
right.
talked too much.
No, you all are great. Echo themed scavenger hunt. The activity would be to maintain or improve hiking. That's Echo Trail. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Create a scavenger hunt focused on identifying native plants, wildlife, or eco-friendly practices. You can then combine education with fun and encourage nature exploration. And the event idea would be to have event called Nature Detectives, where you include small prizes for participants. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is a good one because you could, bring it down to the kid level, right? So
Yeah.
not everything on our list tonight has been, available for or safe for kids, but this one would be great. It'd be a good way to get them used to it, start building those habits of kids realizing, especially our kids. Our kids are geocachers, right? So start building those habits of I associate geocaching and cleaning up the environment with the same hobby. So that's a good message to get out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, just even like basic skill set, because I mean, identifying, of course, like poison ivy, poison oak on this one,
Yeah.
things that people should not interact with, because I mean, especially if you're having a CITO where you are collecting trash and there could be poison ivy, poison oak, or other things. These are good things to
Correct.
make sure that people are aware of,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are not aware of what those are. But certainly, yeah, I mean, even combining an element of leave no trace on here too would be really great, really valuable to have for people.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yep.
Another good one.
Another one. This is again another one that we have caveats, which is uh, adult supervised, and there's plenty of adults that need supervised supervision, but you have to do this one sort of carefully. But it's to upcycle craft workshop. So you would turn old material into useful or decorative items. You also, by doing this, the impact is you're encouraging waste reduction and creativity. You could do a craft for change, showcase finished projects in a small pop-up exhibit at your CITO.
So here's how I see that one working. If you have a local recycle center,
Yeah.
you may be able to work with them to some of the stuff that don't have to be recycled, or some things that can't be recycled. There's always
Right.
plenty of things that get dropped off that can't be recycled that would have to then go to the dump. But if you can make something new and interesting out of these art projects or whatever else, and you have a place to display them, it takes a little organization to do this, but it's not your standard CITO, but it is possible. In a lot of areas, they will take some reclaimed items and make them into art projects. So
Yeah. One
it's
thing
something
with
you can.
that is, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's more complicated, but I think it is possible to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think would be good too is you could combine it with the idea that you're picking up certain items, even if you're going through and not necessarily just picking up trash, but like you obviously do some planning for this, but you could go around and get items that are going to go to recycling, like newspapers or
Mm-hmm.
plastic or whatever. So, but you combine that with to let people know, like these items that we picked up, take pictures of it, and you could show that they're like these items are recyclable. These are good items to use because they're able to then be recycled. Don't use, and then you could sort of show. I think one of them that I've heard is that there are certain plastics that we are wanting as a as a society to sort of discourage companies from making, and that is there are certain plastics that get these crazy colors on them, I think they are, which they almost can't be recycled because they need to be in more plain containers.
Mm,
And so there's no real reason other than the fancy sparkly looking to them. It's like, but then again, we can't end up using that. So I think a lot of those get basically dumped in into
yeah.
landfills. Whereas, you know, we need to be making even the items that we think are going to be recycled, but we need to make sure that they are actually recycled. So if we can raise awareness of, hey, we need to really encourage these companies to stop
Hmm.
making products that we can't recycle because they look good. Well, we don't
Yeah.
need look good. I mean, it's a detergent bottle for Christ's sake. I mean, we don't need it to look that great. You know what I mean? If your
Well,
products,
it's a
uh,
complicated issue, and it's one that you can reach out to your local recycling
yeah,
center for. They're going to be the most knowledgeable in your area because everyone is different, what the
yeah,
capabilities they have, and
Mhm.
um, and I guarantee you they probably have some ideas. If you tell them, I've got some people that want to do projects. Is there something you can imagine for us to do?
yep,
They don't have unlimited resources. They have to use volunteers. They have to use employees, and they never have enough time to do what they're doing. I guarantee you they can come up with some ideas we haven't even thought of tonight. But just reach
oh
out
yeah,
to them. They're going to help you. They're not going to tell you, no, we don't want help recycling. I promise you it's
yeah.
not going to happen. Yeah.
This one is sort of, well, we'll get y'all's thoughts on.
Throw it out there.
This one was suggested. This Dark Sky Awareness Night. The activity is to host a night sky viewing. Again, you'd have to get some, just with a little bit of planning,
Yeah.
and with your local community to see if you can get them to sort of turn off their night lights temporarily for an hour or something. Host a night sky viewing and educate participants about light pollution. Encourages reduced light pollution and promotes energy saving. Stars and Sustainability is the event, and includes stargazing with telescopes, light reducing tips, etc.
This is
Mhm.
what you could work with a chamber of commerce or an HOA,
Yeah,
just somebody that has influence in an area, and to see if you could, make the difference. I think you're going to do a little research on this one. I know this is kind of a different idea
yeah,
to but you reach out with your reviewer, right? Talk to your reviewer, talk to your local organizations, and see what you can do to make a difference on something like this.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, this is an important one because, I mean, a lot of people, you don't know about dark sky observatories, Google dark
hmm,
sky observatories.
Hmm.
yep,
Uh, Dark skies are areas where there's like very little light pollution on that.
Hmm.
And the amazing thing is when you go to these places, you can see like an incredible amount of stars. So if you're in an urban area, if you're in somewhere where there's a lot of light pollution, you may not have those incredible views of the night sky, but when you go to these places with minimal light pollution, you can really see a lot of amazing things in that night sky. And a lot of people are not aware, when you're designing, lights, lampposts, etc., what that impact of light pollution is. I mean, something like this could be a really cool educational opportunity for
Hmm.
people, to raise
mhm,
awareness of that one, because a lot of times after you raise awareness, people then may make changes on that front. So I
Absolutely.
think that's a really cool one, on
Yeah.
that one. But yeah, people should definitely Google dark sky observatory, go find a place with minimal light pollution, go there, check out the stars, be amazed.
It's completely different.
one of the things, yeah, real quick, I was it really was impacted by. We took a trip. We were in Arizona. And we went to Kitt Peak, which is observatory location. It was uh, great trip and a great time at the Kitt Peak Observatory. But the one of the hosts there said to us, like, they took us outside of, and at this point it's really dark, and they said look toward Tempe, and they showed us where roughly where Tempe was, and it's really close. You're closer to Tempe at Kitt Peak than you are to Phoenix, because Phoenix is further away. But Tempe has local laws about the kind of lights that they can use, street lights, and they've really worked diligently to lower their light pollution, partially because they're near Kidd Peak, but also just to lower the light pollution for that. You look over toward Phoenix, it's like this blinding light of
Yeah.
light pollution coming from Phoenix, and it's quite it's further away, but yet it was creating so much more light pollution than a large local town, because they had taken the time
Yeah.
to do
Huge
that
difference.
right. So yeah. All right. So we're getting toward the end, but we've got a couple more. I wanted to jump down, Jesse, to yours. So
Okay.
if you want to talk a little bit about working with your local schools.
Yeah, and this would apply to schools or libraries, like we mentioned earlier, because
Okay.
now some towns they have almost unlimited funding and everything is perfect in the town, right? But a lot of towns are not like that. And one of the locations where it's not like that often is your local schools. So even on schools where they have staff and they're fully staffed, which a lot of them are not fully staffed,
Right.
they can get the big things. They do the bushes, they do things like that. They paint and do maintenance, but there's little things that you wouldn't think when you're walking around a campus. There's little things like straws and milk cartons and things like that, or partial pieces of stuff that they just don't have enough people to clean up, right? And sometimes they have a big field in the back, and
Right.
all they can do is maintain the little area up front. They can't maintain a lot of the fields so if you reach out to the school district or the local schools, I can tell you that you can bite off more than you can chew even with these.
Sure.
So there's a lot of schools in your area. Depending on where you are, there's a lot of schools in your area, right? Each school could be a CITO that you could do more than once. And if you have a small elementary school, a decent group of 12 or so can make a difference on those grounds. Those same 12 cannot scratch the surface on a high school campus.
Right.
So this is kind of scalable. Know what your area is before you volunteer to help and clean up. They will a lot of times provide gloves. They will provide bags and everything else. They'll clean it up afterwards. They're used to they have staff for things like that. They may have small projects with refurbing, depending on where you are, like a playground or things like that.
Right.
It doesn't seem like schools would be a good location. We hosted a whole series all summer. Every week we had CITOs at schools. They were super happy. Some of them, and it was different from campus to campus, but some of them, we needed more people. Like we just needed more people to cover the grounds. It was a lot.
Right.
It wasn't like it was a huge amount all in one area. It's because those campuses are bigger than you think sometimes. Same thing with like Friends of the Library. If you have a library that has a larger campus sometimes it's not just that building, it's a bigger campus. They can use help with things like that, because every time they don't have to do that, they can spend those tax dollars doing something else. And like if you're wanting to do a large series of events, or you want to do more than just one, your school district can keep you busy all year long.
Yeah.
All year long, they can keep you busy. I'm telling you, they could. And they need volunteers, and not just from me as a teacher, but I can tell you that I've worked for a few school districts, and we're never short for volunteers to do things. And there's little projects can be done. They're not letting you run a chainsaw on school grounds,
Right.
but there's a lot of small projects that can be done, or repainting, or cleaning out, pressure washing, things like that. There's a lot of big projects you can do in a school, and if you want to do a series of them and really put your CITO numbers up, that's a place to go. They will be happy to have you.
That's a great one. Yeah. It's something that I saw something that's kind of semi-related, but teachers spend a lot of their own money on schools. I know it's surprising. I know some people are surprised when they never heard that, but teachers spend their own money, which is sad that we have to have teachers do that. But anything you can do to help the local schools,
museums as well. So any kind of
local
organization
museum
like that, it's helpful. It's really helpful to your community.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, local museums, local parks. We need to help them out. So, there's that's all important. So, all right, we're kind of at the end. What are some
We
final
had one
thoughts?
more.
And
That was what was the E one for
oh,
electronic?
yeah,
I
I
thought
can
that was
bring that one up.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, um, e-waste.
Yeah. E-waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring that one up, and I'll tell you about that one as we get started toward the end of tonight. But we got one more to do, and that is e-waste collection drives.
Mm-hmm.
This activity would be to collect and safely recycle old electronics. This will reduce the harmful e-waste in landfills. Yeah, definitely put them in landfills. Good grief. And the event idea would be a tech detox day. I like that. Tech detox day.
I like it
Include
too.
a workshop on proper recycling and data security. So
I think that would be a great one. It's very different than most of what you see. And
yep.
work with your local places. Make sure you have a place that's going to take them, and that you have a proper disposal endpoint in mind. But I think this would be a great idea for CITO. There's a lot of waste that goes into, and not all of them can be recycled at your local recycle center. You have to find somewhere to use them.
Yep.
But the education point as well. And we are a high tech scavenger hunt game, right? So we do have some responsibility for technology. So I think this would be a great, very different type of CITO that could be done.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Like you said, we've all seen items out in, the trash that's been not only just trash,
Mhm.
but like you said, an old monitor sitting in a
Yeah.
you know, next to a park, and you're like,
Oh
this
yeah.
ain't good, because this electronic stuff is going to not this is not biodegradable. This thing's not gonna all it's gonna do is cause problems. We don't want stuff in our, get it into our
Yeah,
water
not
supply.
not at all. And you see too many of those old electronics, like occasionally on like a
Old
trail, like an old TV, an old
old
monitor,
TVs, yes. Nowadays,
something like
man,
that.
yeah.
And
Go
it's
ahead.
just like, we need to encourage people to be definitely incorporating those responsibly. There's certain times during like an Earth Day or different types where maybe you'll have like an electronics recycler who's
Yeah.
willing to be a little bit more proactive. I mean, it would be an epic CETO if you could work with an electronics recycler to help out, with an event where people could just come and donate old electronics
Yep.
and ensure that they're getting properly disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner. I mean, how cool would that be, to pull
Yeah.
together on that front?
I'm excited about that idea. I may have to look into that in my area.
Yeah. So many people toss stuff in the trash. I mean, for
Mhm.
the, and it's like, no, 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 no,
Yep.
no, that does not go. That needs to go to now. Fortunately, in our community, and I'm sure many communities have, but again, not done, I think, completely, which is the location where you take stuff to, and it's designed for people to drop off their old, broken TV or their
Yeah.
microwave.
Yeah.
Don't we don't need microwaves in the landfill. Good grief! But that way they can sort of properly take them apart, take out all, take the right parts and put them in, the plastic and so forth. So no, I love it. Excellent. Thank you also, folks in the chat room. We had a lot of good comments. I saw one. I don't know if did I bring it up. I thought Nicole's idea was great about
Yeah. The reefs.
the reef building. If you live in an area that could use, obviously with planning and permission, you could create, because there's always areas that need that. So there's a lot of great ideas. Scott had a lot of great ideas tonight. So thank you, Scott. He's up in Alaska, which is gorgeous part of the world, and part of our country.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So yeah,
I can't wait to get back.
yeah, absolutely. So a lot of great ideas from everybody tonight. Thank you, and yeah. So final thoughts.
I'll I'll go. So again, tonight was a brainstorming idea, not a how-to. You still have to follow all the regulations. Use your brain when you're doing these things. Reach out to the people. Do them right. This is our chance to give back. But just like a geocache, hopefully, and we're talking to the people that are more invested anyway. But don't just settle with an LPC, right? Like, get creative.
Right.
Find a new way to do stuff. Bring people into it. CITOs are the same thing. Have that CITO event be something different. Not everyone needs to be pick up trash on the side of the highway, which is important.
Yeah.
But get creative. Bring that, have people wanting to, when people leave that CITO, you want them to go, this was fun. I haven't done this in a while. When can we do it again?
Yeah.
You won with that one. You know what I mean? You came up with a fun, creative CITO to do something like that. Or have people say, I never thought of this. I may have to copy it. Please do. You want to be creative. You don't want to just keep it as, don't just, I did a CITO to do a CITO. That's
sure.
Do CITOs, yes, host them. And a lot of people are afraid to do them. Reach out. Your local groups will help you. Your state groups will help you for sure. But come up with some creative ideas. We can do better than just, I'm going to clean up trash. That's great.
Yeah.
Doing those, but try to expand a little bit. You'll inspire if you do one of these type of things, and the one they're talking about in the chat room too. But if you do one of these creative type things, other people are going to copy, and you'll have more CITO opportunities in your area. In some areas, you just can't find a CITO to go to. They don't do them very often.
No, exactly.
So you come up with some ideas like this, and you may be able to, everybody thinks it's a park or it's a highway. Some of these are urban CITOs that you can do. So
sure.
Give it a shot. Raise your game, including the CITOs.
Yep. A couple things, and then I'm going to let John go. But I want to mention a couple things. Burn Turtle says about making a community celebration CITO. I'm not sure because a community celebration.
One of the other icons, but it wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
don't know about the icon thing, but I think you could still pull that off.
You could still stack if you wanted to. You could do a community celebration and then later a CITO as long as it's a little bit further apart.
Yeah. I think there's ways to do it. And Nicole says that she's done plenty of reef building, which is really cool. I didn't know that. So good for you, Nicole. As a non-cacher, and it's super easy, something all ages or abilities can do. So,
well, Nicole hosted. I'll be there.
Nice. John?
Yeah, I think this has been a great show to talk about CITOs, and really CITOs in a lot of different ways. I think Jesse hit on a lot of good points. I think the big thing is if you're not sure, on how to do a CITO, where to do a CITO, reach out to organizations. Organizations are always looking for people to volunteer, always looking to help. If it's a school, if it's a museum, if it's a trail organization, onto that one. There's so many places that are looking for help and volunteers onto this one. And this is a wonderful way for us to give back, establish those good relationships with people, and really to have fun, as a community, because I think, the geocaching community is just so powerful, so amazing. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, people know these little hidden gems of places. And if we can help to improve those places, and how cool would it be if we can do that? Get permission to hide some amazing caches there too. And then have those caches even published after the CITO on that one for people to find. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do, but I know for at least myself, 2025 is already shaping up to be a year of incredible events, incredible fun and unique events. And let's challenge ourselves to add on to that and make some incredible CITOs as well for people onto that one. And not just something where somebody's thinking, let's just do a plain CITO because, we just want an icon or we just want to do one.
Yeah.
Let's go above and beyond, on
Excellent.
that one for sure.
So, John, did I hear you correctly there? You just challenged your co-host to host a CITO this year?
Yeah. I think we all need to host a CITO.
A creative CITO.
Creative
CITO. Yes,
yeah,
I like
absolutely.
That. All right. Well, we just did it in front of everybody. So
all right.
I guess we've all just challenged each other to do that. So we'll come up with the prize later prize /
I like it
later. But right now the challenge has been laid. Host a CITO this year.
So John, can you get that passed on to Challenge Talk and Puzzle Talk?
Yeah, and I hear the Challenge Talk people love challenges, so this should be good for them.
And Gadget Talk. John, do you want to spill or should I spill the beans since I'm a bean spiller?
I think you just did, Gary. I think we.
Oh no, Gary just spilled the beans.
Oh man, so Gary just spilled the beans on the guess who's back on this one. On January 21st at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, Gadget Talk is coming back on this one, believe it or not.
That's going to be
amazing. January 21st. Get your gadgets ready to build with the Gadget Talk show. And we should we'll have to get that going with the creative CITOs. Great job guys, and looking forward to a little bit of a little CITO Odyssey this year, so that'll be great. All right. Well, take care, and looking forward to Challenge Talk on Tuesday with Brian Roth, and see what beans he's going to spill that night. So I'm looking forward to that. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Actually, see you Tuesday. So that's not trash. That's a geocache. Way to go, Jim. Nice. Good night, everybody.
Okay, take care, everybody.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.